Off the Cuff is supported by Patreon. Join today and become an honorary producer and get in-show credit on every episode. Hi everybody, and welcome to Off the Cuff, Healthy Cooking with Craig Mitchell. Except today that's a little bit different because I'm not cooking. No, I'm not. Maybe I'm taking the day off. Okay, who turned off the lights? Come on, I was kidding. I'm not cooking, but I'm gonna have a show. Can you put the lights on, please? Thank you. Boy, yeah, so I'm not cooking or baking or even using the air fryer, because today I'm making candy. Not just candy, two of my all-time favorites. The first one I'm making is sugar-free Peppermint Patties. Oh, I love these. They're so good, they're so refreshing. And you know where I got the idea? From a guy on TikTok. There he is, B. Dylan Hollis. Actually, that's him actually making his own version of the Peppermint Patties. So I took that recipe and I changed it and I made it sugar-free. He is hilarious. He's on TikTok. If that's gone by now, you can find him on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Trust me, he's worth the watch. He's really great. Then, well, anybody who knows me knows I love peanut butter. I am obsessed with it. So it makes sense that my next candy is going to be sugar-free peanut butter cups. Oh, there they are. Now, truth be known, about 5 years ago when my show was just a 12-minute show on YouTube, I did do them, but I can do them even better. I only used a little bit of peanut butter then. This time, I'm going to use a lot, and they're going to be fantastic. Guilt-free, sugar-free chocolate. Oh, it's going to be fantastic. But not exactly guilt-free. Yeah, they're not going to spike your blood sugar, but there are calories involved. So keep that in mind, but still, I'm plenty excited. Hey, I'm going to ask myself a question. Hey, Craig, do you love shows like this? I love shows like this because I get to make my two favorite candy bars, Peppermint Patties and peanut butter cups, both sugar-free.
Hey.
Oh, who are you? Why is there all this glitter here?
Listen, pal, you and I gotta talk.
I'm all ears, and glitter apparently.
You know this off-the-stuff thing you've been doing? Need to cut it out.
It's off the cuff. What do you mean cut it out?
Because you're cramping my style.
Cramping your style? I don't know who you are.
Well, I know you. You used to be one of my best kids.
Huh?
Yeah, I was at your house so much that I didn't even need directions anymore.
You've never been here before.
Not here, ding-a-ling. Your house on Maple Avenue.
Maple Avenue?
Mm-hmm.
Maple Avenue?
Yep.
I haven't lived there since I was 12 years old.
I know, dude. I was so good to you. Now you're killing all my business.
How am I killing your business?
Because kids nowadays, they don't eat as much sugar as they used to. But you coming in with all this sugar-free stuff, you're killing me, Smalls.
Ah, The Sandlot. Oh, I love that movie, yeah. I gotta tell you, I'm still confused.
Listen, Craig, just do me a solid. Anybody who used to sleep in Snoopy sheets can't be all that bad.
I did sleep in Snoopy sheets. How do you know that?
Well, it was kind of hard to miss when I was trying to tuck a quarter underneath your pillow.
A quarter?
Mm-hmm. For your tooth.
You're the Tooth Fairy.
The one and only. You can call me Chopper if you want to.
Oh, that name fits you.
Yeah, you know, Chopper, like your teeth.
Yeah, the Tooth Chopper.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, well, thank you for the quarters.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. You're always good for like 5 or 6 visits a month.
I hope I didn't work you too hard.
Nah, you weren't as bad as some kids. Like, take Julia Roberts, for example. That kid had so many teeth, man, I was almost running out of change.
Yeah, I bet.
But it's different nowadays, Craig. Like when I'm trying to get into a place, A lot of times I'm doing like Tom Cruise, lowering myself down from the ceiling like in Mission Impossible because everybody's got security cameras and ring cameras and all that.
Man, I never thought of that. That's an awful lot of work to go through for just a quarter.
But a quarter? Yeah, right. Nowadays it's like $5.
$5 for a tooth?
Yeah, and most kids want like Bitcoin now too.
Wow, I don't feel so guilty about tricking you with that bottle cap that time.
It wasn't a bottle cap, it was a Yoo-hoo cap.
Oh yeah, you're right, it was.
And by the way, I want my quarter back.
Yeah, so do the Jets.
I'm serious. Where's my quarter? I want my quarter back.
Really? Oh. There you go.
But 52 years of inflation compounded comes out to be about $3.16.
Take a check.
You carry a checkbook? I'm just kidding with you. A quarter's fine. So anyway, could you maybe, cut out the sugar-free treat thing? Because it's really cutting in my business, and pretty soon I'll have to go back to driving Uber.
Well, that's not so bad.
It is if you only have a motorcycle.
Oh.
And one that flies. Can you imagine the screams?
I've been thinking. Kids lose their baby teeth when they're 5 or 6, no matter what they eat. So, you know what? I think maybe you're just in a lull right now.
You might be right.
Yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I guarantee it.
Yeah. I do tend to worry a lot. Man, you can imagine when they started putting fluoride in our water supply, I was a mess.
Yeah. A chocolate mess.
A what?
It melts in your mouth, not in your hands. M&Ms. Yeah, it's a really old commercial.
I'll tell you something that doesn't get old. Ingredients. And here they are.
It's time for the ingredients. First up for the Peppermint Patties. 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk. I'm using one that's sweetened by Splenda. 1 1/2 teaspoon of peppermint extract. 5 to 6 cups of powdered sugar. I'm using monk fruit allulose. 1/4 to 1/2 cup of heavy cream that's if needed to make the dough. Now for the chocolate covering, 5 ounces of sugar-free chocolate chips and 2 tablespoons of coconut oil or melted butter. Now for the peanut butter cups, 10 ounces of sugar-free chocolate chips. You're going to divide that, 5 ounces and 5 ounces. 4 tablespoons of coconut oil or butter, also divided in 2 tablespoons and 2 tablespoons. 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now for the peanut butter filling, 3 1/2 tablespoons of smooth peanut butter, 2 teaspoons of coconut oil or butter, 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar, again I'm using monk fruit allulose, 1 1/2 teaspoons of peanut flour, 1/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a pinch of sea salt to taste. Okay, let's make those peppermint patties. Now, this is the book that I adapted the recipe from. This is a Baking Yesteryear by B. Dylan Hollis. Great book. It has recipes that go all the way back to the 1800s. Now, in this recipe, it did say 5 to 6 cups of powdered sweetener. Now, I'm using monk fruit allulose, and this is granular. So I'm going to have to powder it. So, quick, to the food processor, Robin. We'll see how this works out. And, okay, let it rip. Okay, so obviously I did speed up the video a little bit, or else it sort of, altogether it took maybe 3 or 4 minutes, but that's an awful long time on camera with this baby whirring. So I'll do a little bit more. Okay, just wait for the dust to settle. Just a little bit. And there we have our 5 cups of powdered sweetener. Like I said, this is monk fruit allulose. The first instruction I have is to take, this is the 1 cup of sweetened condensed milk, but this is sweetened with Splenda. Let's put it in there. It's gonna, looks like caramel. And now you take the peppermint extract, put it in there. And now it says mix very well. Okay. Now it says to add the powdered sweetener a little at a time. Okay, so we'll put this in here. Keep on stirring it in there. Yeah, it's actually getting incorporated into the batter. Look at that. Now, he did say at one point, I'm going to have to get in here and do this with my hands. Yeah. You have to get in here and do this. Oh yeah, working it. Okay, so it seemed to need more moisture. I don't have any more condensed milk. So I put in some heavy cream, and that seems to have helped a lot. It was just too dry, but now it's helping. I don't think we're going to get that white color though. That's why we call it off the cuff, folks. This is the first time I'm doing it. And yes, we're going to have a yellow filling. It's not as appetizing as that beautiful white filling. It is what it is. It's going to taste good. I'm sure of that. There we are. Now it's finally forming that dough. Okay, good. All right, so let's take some parchment paper. If you crumple it, it lays flatter. Get some more parchment paper, put it over this. And we're going to roll this till it's about 1/4 inch thick. It's very easy to roll. Here we are. That's about the thickness that we want. And I have a feeling we should take this now and put it into the refrigerator. Okay, I didn't expect to have so much trouble with these, but I'll explain a little bit later. I'm now making these into the minty circles. Now let's see if I can get them out of here. Yeah, much better. More control. There goes one. There goes two. Now I'm going to put this in the freezer because these are delicate and I want them to get hard before I dip them in the chocolate. All right, now I'm going to melt the chocolate so we can actually make the peppermint patties. Now the patties are in the freezer firming up. Okay, into the microwave. I'm going to be using the microwave a lot this episode, I really am. I think I'll be using it 3 times, 4 times, I'm not really sure. Okay, in about 30 seconds we'll have melted chocolate and we're going to start to dip our peppermint patties. Into the chocolate it goes. Just make sure it gets really nice and covered. And put it. There's another one. We have 2. There's 3. Okay. These are our peppermint patties. Now I'm going to put them back in the freezer. Okay, the peppermint patties are setting in the freezer. Now it's time for food facts. Chocolate-covered mints harken back to 19th century Europe, specifically France and England. Confectioners were mixing mint oil and sugar and coating the mixture in chocolate. These early mints were more like after-dinner treats, and they were meant to freshen your breath and to help with digestion after big meals. They were soft, rich, and indulgent, and were more like mint creams or ganache-style bonbons. Victorian-era Britain really embraced the after-dinner mint, with the upper class in restaurants serving them on little silver dishes. Yeah, they were often handcrafted with soft mint centers and dark chocolate coatings. Think, delicate, elegant, and fancy as all heck. In the early 20th century, U.S. companies like Lowney's, Bondi Brothers, and Brock's offered boxed chocolate mint creams. They became a staple at drugstores, soda fountains, and candy counters. Yeah, still minty, still soft and creamy, but now a little bit more accessible to the average customer. In the 1920s and 1930s, chocolate bars took off and mint versions appeared. Mint chocolate was sold as wafers, bars, and snackable pieces, but none had that clean snap or that intense peppermint oil flavor that York was about to introduce. The Peppermint Patty was first created in York, Pennsylvania in 1940 by Henry Kessler, who owned the York Cone Company. At the time, they pretty much just made ice cream in cones, but Kessler had a vision of a peppermint center that was crisp and firm, not soft and gooey like his competitors. What made York Peppermint Patty stand out was Kessler's snap test. Now, if the Peppermint Patty didn't snap in the middle when snapped in half, it was rejected. That solid peppermint middle became its signature texture that provided that wonderful bite, kind of like biting into winter itself. Oh. Although they were invented in New York in the 1940s, patties didn't go national until the 1970s. That's because in 1972, they were purchased by Peter Paul. Yep, the same people responsible for Almond Joy and Mounds. And once they had the patties, they went wide with them, sending them all over the country, where they started to get popular. Also around this time, York Peppermint Patties had wonderful commercials that went nationwide. Here's one now.
When I eat a York Peppermint Patty, I get the sensation of a cool breeze billowing through my hair and across my long white dress. Oh.
York Peppermint Patty, get the sensation.
Peppermint Patties were now a hot property. In 1978, Peter Paul sold to Cadbury. In 1988, Cadbury sold to Hershey's. Yep, Hershey's now owns the York Peppermint Patty. Elsewhere in the candy aisle, peanut butter is now becoming mainstream, especially in the 1910s and the 1920s, when manufacturing and shelf life were improved. Confectioners also took notice by creating peanut butter nougats, bars, and bonbons. But the peanut butter and chocolate that we know and love was just about to come to be. That brings us to Harry Burnett Reese, who was working for Milton S. Hershey in a dairy farm owned by the Hershey Chocolate Company. Now, inspired by the candy biz, what he did is he started making his own chocolates in his basement in Hershey, Pennsylvania. He actually named his company the H.B. Reese Candy Company in 1923. Then in 1928, Reese invented what he called penny cups. Little paper cups filled with his own peanut butter mixture and covered in Hershey's chocolate. They sold for 1 penny each and they became hugely popular, mostly thanks to that perfect mixture of salty and sweet. Originally, Reese made a whole line of products, nougats, caramels, mints, etc., but the peanut butter cup outsold them all. By the 1940s, he decided to solely concentrate on the peanut butter cups, and soon they became his company's flagship product. Sadly, in 1956, Harry Reese passed away, but not before he saw his candy become one of the top-selling candies in the country. Then in 1963, H.B. Reese's sons merged the company with, you guessed it, Hershey's. Oh yeah, it was a tax-free stock deal that made Reese's descendants very, very rich. And you know what? It's a match made in heaven, because Reese always used Hershey chocolate anyway. In the 1970s, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups had an iconic commercial too. Check it out.
Peanut butter.
Chocolate. You got peanut butter on my chocolate.
Well, you got chocolate in my peanut butter.
And now it's time for Peppermint Patty and Peanut Butter Cup trivia. May 18th is National Peanut Butter Cup Day. It's actually called I Love Reese's Day. Reese's makes enough peanut butter cups every year to feed everybody in the United States, Canada, Australia, Japan, China, India, Europe, Africa. Whew, that's a lot. National Peppermint Patty Day is February 11th. It's also my niece's birthday. York makes over 1.5 billion peppermint patties every single year. And finally, did you ever wonder if there was a connection between Peppermint Patties and Peppermint Patty? There was. Charles M. Schultz had a bowl of Peppermint Patties in his living room when he created her. And that's Food Facts. Okay, so while the peppermint patties are hardening in the refrigerator, it's time to make the peanut butter cups. Let's melt our chocolate. Now this recipe calls for 10 ounces of chocolate chips. We're dividing that. So here's 5, here's 2 tablespoons of butter, or you can use coconut oil. Either one will work. We're gonna put it in the microwave for 30-second increments until it's melted. Putting it in, and you want to get it up the sides a little bit. There's a reason for my madness. You're gonna put it in like this, like it's a little cup, which it actually is. About a tablespoon. Put it in. Bring it up to the sides of the cup. There's a reason for it, and the reason is we want to have a little sandwich place, or a little place to put the peanut butter. Okay, now we take this very unattractive board, but don't worry about it. Slide this on here. And now we're going to put this in the freezer. Because of the silicone, this gives it support. That's why I have the board. And I'm going to put it where I usually put the ice trays, right here. For 10 minutes or so. Now let's make the peanut butter filling. The peanut butter starts the same as the chocolate. We're going to take our peanut butter and our butter, and we're going to microwave it 30-second intervals. Yes. First goes the peanut butter. That goes in, the peanut butter and butter mixture. Then goes our vanilla, our peanut flour, and our 4 tablespoons of powdered monk fruit allulose. And we stir it up. All right. The peanut butter mixture is done. Okay, now the fun starts. We take out our chocolate cups, which are now hardened, and we take peanut butter and we plop it in there. Nice, generous amount of peanut butter. Last time I did this, I did it way too thin. It was like a wafer thin. I didn't really like that. So I'm doing a little bit more this time. Okay. I might be doing more than I have peanut butter for, but that's all right. I'll only do Here we are. Okay, we're gonna melt some more chocolate. In the meantime, I'm putting these back in the freezer. Okay, we're back in the microwave again. We're back in the microwave again. Yee-hoo! This is the chocolate for the top of the Reese's. You know the drill by now. 30-second stir, 30-second stir. Then we have melted chocolate. And here's our 2/3 completed peanut butter cups. And this is how you complete them. You just take chocolate and spoon it on top. Make sure you cover all of it. Cover all that luscious peanut butter. Like that. This is where I'm glad I paid attention in art school. No, not really. I'm hideous at it. Like I said, the last time I made these, which was about 5 years ago, I didn't have enough peanut butter. And when I cut them open, it barely registered that there was peanut butter in it. I rectified that here. There's a ton of peanut butter in these cups. Okay. All right. Now into the freezer for 10 more minutes, and then we're gonna have a chocolate explosion in here.
I like chocolate, yes I do.
Okay, and we're done. Oh yeah, 2 chocolatey treats that aren't gonna spike my blood sugar. Like I said earlier, I am really, really excited. Now, as you saw, making the peppermint patties were a bit of a challenge. Like I said, when you use alternative ingredients, they don't react the same as, say, sugar or whatever. That's why I kind of had to futz with the recipe right in the middle of the show. Like I said, it's off the cuff, and I was doing it for the first time, so I was kind of experimenting as I was going along, and well, I think they turned out pretty good, yes. But I'm not gonna start with the peppermint patty. They're kind of hard. They're in the freezer. I'm gonna start with the peanut butter cup. And look at this. I made the big one. Oh yeah, the big one. Look at it. It's huge. Get in my belly. I've had them before, but this has a lot more peanut butter in it. I can't wait to taste this, so let's kill the suspense. So much peanut butter. Well, now that's a peanut butter cup. Oh yeah. When I did this last time, yeah, look at that little line in there. Yeah, I definitely upgraded. Sweet, delicious. Again, you cannot tell this is sugar-free. You can't. Yes, there's calories, you saw that, but boy, what a treat, especially when you're worried about type 2 diabetes or if you're counting carbs. This is great. One more. Man. If this was just a show, I'd be really happy. But there's more. Okay. Just going to pause a second to ready my mouth for the peppermint patty. Here we go. And you know it's going to be yellow inside. We already discussed why it's doing that but anyway, here we go. Not too yellow. Sweet. A peppermint. I'm flushing. Oh, baby, these are great. I totally thought I was screwing up. These are amazing. Well, they're smooth. They're creamy. The peppermint flavor. And so sweet. Very rich. Wow. I am surprised. I totally thought I'd have to pull an acting job here and go, that's pretty good. I kind of like it. No, man, this is outstanding. These are 2 chocolate treats that are going to satisfy anybody's sweet tooth at any time. And that's it for this time around. I'm here again in 2 weeks with yet another show and another recipe. Until then, be well, eat good.